Caden James, and you're listening to Spirlit. Take your life to the next level. Stop playing small. It's time to light it up. Welcome to the very first episode of the Spirlit Podcast. I want to thank you all for being here. I don't know what brought you here, but I don't think there are any accidents in life. I think you are here because you are meant to be here. And I'm so glad that we're spending this time together. We are going to share a lot of truth here and a lot of really, really great tools and resources that can help you along this journey in life. Now, instead of giving you a long introduction of myself and my coaching practices, I just want to start diving deep because I know that as you listen to this podcast and as we get to know each other, it's going to be more organic. It's going to be a lot better than, going on almost like a first date where you try to dump all of your resume and everything about yourself. It's better to just let it unfold, let the magic just happen. I actually encourage this with a lot of my coaching clients to just go with the flow, to do what feels right, to become intuitive. We have a natural intuition. We can sense danger, we can sense all these types of things, but sometimes we don't listen to these things, right? We just kind of push them aside and we start to think like, oh, our mind knows better or our heart knows better, right? But you have a gut for a reason, and that gut instinct is there to guide you along this journey. And that's why I think just some really magical things are going to happen with this podcast. Now, with this first one, I will tell you, I have tried to start a podcast for a very long time. I would always get to like the first episode and I'd just be like, where do I even begin? Because I have so many materials and so many ideas. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming when you have all of these things swirling around in your mind. And it's just hard to start somewhere. But that's what I want to encourage you to do. Now, there may be something in your life right now that you can think of, something you want to start or do, and you just have been putting it off. Maybe it's writing that first book or putting yourself on a dating app or applying for a job that's like your dream job. Whatever that thing is, I just want to encourage you to go for it. Sometimes in life, we just have to push ourselves past the discomfort in order to get the reward. And that's what I'm here doing with you. I'm in process too. Even though I'm a coach and I've done this for a really long time, I still find limitations within myself. I still have caps to what I dream for myself, and I just want to encourage you to keep pushing that cap, keep expanding it. If you have a ceiling of what you believe that you can earn in a year or in 5 years or in 10 years or your lifetime, if you have a cap that you're putting on yourself, I want you to keep expanding it until you can completely blow your own mind, so you can break through that. Because there are limitless possibilities to what we can actually achieve in this life, and we are putting the limits on ourselves. We might think that it's other people, we might think that it's our family, or it's our conditions or our circumstances out there in the world, but honestly, we are the ones that are putting the limit there. Because when we choose to believe what we've been told, or when we believe the thoughts that are within our minds, then we are making that choice, whether conscious or subconscious. I want to encourage you to really examine your thoughts around these things. What is holding you back from taking that first step, from putting yourself out there? And for many people, it's simple. It's just fear. We're afraid that if we take that step, we might get rejected. And we're afraid that we might fail. But what is real failure? I would say that if you never take the first step or make the move, then you already failed, right? We failed to act. And if we think about it, everything that we do is a decision. So even deciding not to act is actually a decision. A lot of times we don't think of it that way. We just think if we don't make a decision, we're kind of on pause. Or if I think about this challenge over and over again, it'll just magically go away. and we kind of just procrastinate about it. But if we just take that first step, we will start to see our own power. We will start to gain confidence, and we will realize that we are actually in control of our destiny. If we just stay stagnant, not much is going to change. But if we decide that we're going to go out there and challenge ourselves and not be afraid to make a mistake, then we are taking action, and those actions are going to lead us to better results. Because we know that if we don't take the actions, we're just going to continue to get more of the same. And I'm telling you, when you start to take those uncomfortable first steps, you actually start to gain momentum. And you might discover that what you're doing isn't what you want to be doing, or the direction you're headed in isn't actually where you want to go. But at least you're getting that feedback, you're getting that experience, and you're realizing what you would prefer. Steve Jobs said that death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. And when we come to the realization that death is going to come for all of us, it can be the catalyst to push us forward to achieving our goals and our dreams. So I think it's actually good to think about death, not in a morbid way, but in an inspiring way, so that you are inspired to take action and do the things that really matter to you. Now, I know many of you have already read the top 5 regrets of the dying, but for anybody listening who hasn't heard them or could use a reminder, I'm going to read them for you now. Now, these were recorded by a nurse who compiled the top 5 regrets that people would say when they were on their deathbed. I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I had let myself be happier. Now, these are some very powerful regrets, but I believe that thinking about ourselves on our deathbed, projecting ourselves into the future, hopefully many, many years from now, and thinking about what those regrets might be. Is there somebody that you need to forgive? Is there a conversation you need to have? Is there something that you need to do in this moment to change your priorities so that you're focusing on the things that really matter in this life? Now, I know that there's somebody out there listening to this who's going, whoa, he's calling me out right now. And if that's you, I really want you to listen to what's coming up for you right now. Take the time to think about that. And if you need to even pause this and you need to reach out to someone right now because you're feeling that inspired action, just take a moment and actually take the action right now, because you might have the confidence in this moment, but maybe you'll put it off or you'll procrastinate it in the future. I want you to take that action. I want you just to pause this and think about that person. Send them some love before you actually make contact. But if you need to call them, if you need to email them, if you need to text them, if you need to show up at their doorstep, don't be creepy about it. If you haven't talked to them in a long time, don't jar them. I think it's important to always respect people and always think about how they might be feeling in a situation. So make sure you do that before you reach out if it's been a while. But if there's someone you need to forgive or apologize to, I really want to encourage you to do that. And if there's something that you need to commit to, you've been thinking about doing something for a while and you just haven't committed yourself to it, but you know that if you project yourself into the future, you're going to regret not taking that opportunity or not trying. I want you to go for it. As your coach, as your friend, go for it. You got to expand yourself. You got to put yourself out there. And this is not about beating up on ourselves. This is about learning from our potential future. It's kind of the Ebenezer Scrooge situation where you see the future, and you see that future and you realize, oh, if I keep going down this path, or if I don't do certain things, then my life could be something that I really regret. It could be a really dark, lonely, sad place to be. And I don't want that for anybody out there listening to this. So make a mental note if this is you. And if you're not really catching any regrets or any future regrets yet, I want to really encourage you to meditate on this, to set aside some time to just sit peacefully and think about being on your deathbed. And it doesn't have to be a negative, grim deathbed. It could be a beautiful room with birds chirping outside of your window, and you've got tea at your bedside, and you're surrounded by people who you love and who love you. It can be that kind of experience as well. It could be a completely fulfilling life, and a life that you are very content with. But I want you to think of what would those things that you wish you would have done been. Would it be taking horse riding lessons? Would it be learning guitar? Would it be speaking to an old friend that you haven't kept in contact with, but it was a huge part of your life when you were growing up? It really could be anything. But I believe that by projecting ourselves into the future, we can learn so much just by imagining what the future might hold for us, and then taking that knowledge and bringing it back to the present moment where we can take action and make decisions that will impact our future. So we've already covered what holds us back from making a decision in the present moment, and we've projected ourselves into the future in order to take actions today that will lead us to a more desirable outcome in the future. So I just want to encourage everyone out there listening to take a risk, believe in yourself, and do what lights you up. At Spirlit, that's what we're all about. We connect people with the resources and tools they need to be successful and live a life they love. There's a lot of layers we put on top of ourselves through fear and through circumstance, and we cover our own inner light. But that light is still inside us. It's waiting for us to reconnect with it. And all we have to do is pull off the layers of judgment, the layers of fear, the layers of shame, the layers of guilt. We pull all that off. And then we invite the air back in. And we breathe new life into our dreams, into our passions, into our desires, until we are beaming brighter than we ever have before. And that is what is possible for you. So no matter where you're at in life, no matter how you feel in this moment, know that there is a soul, a perfect soul, a spirit inside of you that has dreams, that has desires, and wants to create in this world. And even if you've stifled that for a while, don't beat yourself up any longer. Release all that guilt, all that shame, put down your baggage, and just allow yourself the space to dream a little bit bigger for yourself, to remove those layers and just bask in your own warmth and your own glow. Because there is a peace and a radiance inside of you that will inspire the world. It will bring the right people into your life. It will have magical effects where as you walk down the path, you are lighting your own way. You don't have to stumble in the darkness anymore. You can light your own path with your wisdom, with your intuition, with your love, and with your light. Now, I know that was a bit of a rant, but I mean every word that I said, because I know that you have gifts and you have things to offer people around you, and it could be small. It doesn't have to be this big, lofty thing, because we can start with the people that are around us right now. If you have a roommate, shower them with some love. Do some nice things for them. Spread some kindness. If it's your partner, if it's your family, start to do little things. Show up in more ways. And it doesn't have to be stuff. It can just be quality time. It can be doing fun things with them or getting curious about them and their goals and their dreams. As coaches, that's what we do. We dive into the hearts and minds of others, and we try to bring out the best in them. We try to reflect them back in their light and get them to stop focusing on all the things they think are wrong with them. Because there's so much good in you. There's so many things that are right about you and your life. And when we focus on those good things, we're going to see more and more. Because as you focus on something, you start to see it everywhere. I mean, if I tell you to focus on yellow cars, I know, and yellow cars are not super common, right? But if I tell you to focus on yellow cars, I'm telling you, you're going to start to see yellow cars. You're going to start to notice yellow cars. They were always there, but you weren't focused on them. You weren't attuned to them. When we use this amazing mind that we all have within us and we tune in to something positive, we start to see it. We start to grow it. We start to nurture it. And because we are radiating the frequency of it, we're bringing it to us, but we're also able to create even more of it. So if you're trying to bring love to you, for instance, be love. If you become love, if you embody love so fully that your spirit is just radiating love everywhere you go, I'm telling you, it's going to light up the world. There are going to be people that just come towards you all the time that are just loving on you. It might be people you don't want to love on you, but that's okay too. You can lovingly say no and send them on their way. But radiating the frequency of what you are looking for in this world is how you become a magnet for it. So when you're at the beginning of something, let's say you want to start a business. Now, many people will be tempted to talk to their family about it, their friends about it, and people who don't really know anything about maybe the business that you're trying to go into. But I want to encourage you to reach out to people who are already successful in that field. So reach out to people who can be your mentor or can lead you down that path. So let's say you want to start an online marketing business, but you don't know anyone around you that is in that field. Talking to friends and family about that could be detrimental because they may discourage you from starting that business. They may say, well, in the past you tried this or you tried that and it didn't work out. They might go down that path, or they might talk about businesses they started that didn't take off or whatever. What you want to do is you want to start to focus on people who actually have been successful in the field you're going after. So if you don't know anyone who has been successful in digital marketing, find some examples of people who have been successful in that field online. That will give you someone to look up to. That'll give you somebody that you can reach out to. You can follow them on social media, and you can actually learn a lot about the way they post content, or where they got certified, or their resources that they utilize in order to be successful in that business. And they will often be members of clubs or groups or other things. And you can reach out to these folks directly and you can start up a conversation. You can talk about your passion with marketing and get them talking about theirs and how they got started and all the things they're interested in and things that they think are really cool about the field or innovative. And as you listen, you're going to learn so much, and you're going to be able to utilize the same resources that made them successful in that field. So become a great student of greatness. When somebody's doing something at an expert level, they're ones to follow. So make sure that you're following those people, that you're keeping up with them, that you're meeting them as much as possible. And you're surrounding yourself with these great folks who are passionate about the things you're interested in. So another thing I really like to encourage is to look as professional as possible with whatever it is that you are starting. So if you're creating a website for your business, make sure that it looks polished, that you pay a little bit extra maybe for some stock footage that looks good, some good photos. And, if it's a podcast like what I'm doing, you could pay a graphic designer to come up with your cover. You don't want to take on those jobs if you're not skilled at it. Because if it looks like clip art, if it looks cheap, if it doesn't look professional, people are going to judge that. And we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward when we're starting anything. Because there's going to be a lot of challenges to overcome, and you don't want to have to overcome the simple ones, the ones that are like easy to do but people often neglect, which is looking the part. You want to show up ready, you want to look good, presentable. If you're talking about your new business on Zoom calls, you want to make sure you have a nice background behind you, that you're wearing an outfit that's appropriate and looks the part of whatever you're going for. and copy people who are experts in that field. You may feel really cheesy at first. It may not feel like it's your style or it's your thing, but I'm telling you, if you just do this a little bit and put your own flair on top of it, you will often go so much faster into the area of credibility where people will join forces with you and help you make your dream come true. So if it's real estate, for instance, you don't want to show up in an outfit where it looks like you slept in it the night before, right? Like, you need to look a certain part because that's what we think of when we think of real estate. Of course, you could be the exception to the rule. You could be a rock and roll real estate agent. That actually sounds pretty cool, actually. And if you are, let me know, because that does sound kind of cool. You can stand out in those ways, but I'm telling you, it is going to be like swimming upstream for most people if they try to take risks like that. You really want to emulate people who are doing things at a very expert level, at least when you're getting started. And once you're at the top, you can kind of do whatever you want. Then you can be like Mark Zuckerberg and wear a gray t-shirt every day, or Steve Jobs and wear the same outfit to work every day like he so famously did at Apple. And to wrap up, I just want you to think about that thing that you really want to do, that thing you've been wanting to start but you've been putting off. I want you to commit to yourself that you're going to take a step forward. And by the end of today, you will have come up with a plan that is going to work for you and your lifestyle, and that you're going to start to take action. Because there's a reason that desire is inside of you. There's a reason you hold it within your heart and you're thinking of it even at this moment. So I want to encourage you to just go for it, to take that first step, even if it's scary, even if it's uncomfortable, because it'll be so worth it in the end. That is what I want to leave you with. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. If you've enjoyed this podcast, join our community at Spirlit.com, where you can find many resources to help with your personal development journey. At Spirlit, you can get coached or even certified as a life coach, and our experts are highly skilled and trained to get you the results you're looking for. We'll see you there.